Yeah, guys, thanks for joining this course. And once again, welcome to Tungabhadra Networks. Let me introduce myself first. And my name is Karthik, and I have 7+ years of experience in networking domain, and including 4+ years of experience in Palo Alto Tech. I'm working as an Palo Alto Tech, and along with me we'll be having Arsha, who is going to lead this project as well. And if you have any queries further in this process, so you can reach out to me or Arsha, and we'll both will clear your doubts going forward. Okay. So today we are going to learn about, okay, this is our first class, right? ఇది మనకి ఫస్ట్ క్లాస్ కాబట్టి సో we are going to learn about the firewall fundamentals. Okay. Before proceeding, do anyone have, okay, do anyone know or don't know the Telugu, or Telugu people only? Can you confirm, so that it will be easy for me to convey in Telugu and English as well? All are Telugu only, right? అందరు తెలుగే కదా?
Yes, sir.
అందరు తెలుగే అక్క.
Yes,
Okay,
sir. Yes.
okay, perfect. Yeah, yes, thank you. Yeah, see here, మనం ఈరోజు ఏం day one కాబట్టి we are going to learn about the firewall fundamentals. Okay, what is firewall? Okay, why we need firewall? So why we are going with Palo Alto firewall, and what is difference between traditional firewall and next generation firewall? And is Palo Alto is a next generation firewall or traditional firewall? And also we are going to learn about firewall hardware models, where if we have, okay, in Palo Alto, whether we have software models or hardware models, so we are going to learn in this session. And as well as we are going to learn about the interface types. Okay, what are the types of interface that are available in the Palo Alto firewalls? And last and foremost for this session, so we are going to learn about the zones. Okay, so what are the zones, why we are going to create a zones in the Palo Alto firewall? And also not only Palo Alto, there are other vendors who are going to create a zones. Okay, so why we are going to create a zones in the firewalls? Okay, so we learn about that. So first we are going to learn about why we need firewalls. Okay, so even though, okay, మనకి ఆల్రెడీ రౌటర్స్ ఉన్నాయి. ఓకే, రౌటర్స్లో కూడా మనం ఏసీఎల్స్ కాన్ఫిగర్ చేసి మనం, ఓకే, ట్రాఫిక్ని బ్లాక్ చేయొచ్చు లేదా యాక్సెప్ట్ చేయొచ్చు. బట్ వై వీ నీడ్ ఫైర్ వాల్స్? ఓకే, డూ ఎనీ వన్ నో వై వీఆర్ యూజింగ్ ఫైర్ వాల్స్? సో ఈవెన్ దో వీ హ్యావ్ routers, right? In the routers we can configure ACLs, and we can block the traffic. So even though we have routers, why we need firewalls? Do anyone have answer for this? So some, okay, if you are going on an interview, okay, they will ask the first question this. Okay, we have a routers, so we can configure ACLs in the routers, and we can block the traffic. But even though we have routers, why we need firewalls? Anyone? Just guess the
ఫైర్వాల్ ఇస్
answer.
నెట్వర్క్ సెక్యూరిటీ డివైస్
Security calls.
Yeah, okay, that is a security device.
దట్ ప్రొటెక్ట్ ది అగెన్స్ట్ అన్అథరైజ్డ్ యాక్సెస్.
Okay, that's correct. Any other answers?
It allows and denies the network traffic easily.
Okay. Yeah, guys, whatever you have told, that's are correct. And apart from that, routers, okay, whenever we take routers, okay, those will be those will be provide security or block the, okay, whatever the traffic that's based upon the IPs and port numbers. Okay, only information of they are going to block the traffic based upon the IPs and ports. But if you take the firewalls, not only using IPs and ports, the firewall is also going to block based upon the applications. Okay, application layer like L7. Okay, and also based upon the users. Okay, so user names and what are the application they are going to use. So if you are using the firewall in your network, so it will be going to provide the, okay, it is going to provide the security to your network from L1 to L7. But if you take the routers, it will be restricting to the only, okay, network layer only. But if you take the firewalls, it is going to provide security till layer 7. That is the reason, okay, we are going with the firewalls. Okay, now what is the firewall means, why we need firewall means, the firewall is a network security device where it is, okay, it is monitoring, okay, it is monitoring whatever the incoming traffic. Okay, incoming means మనకి ఎప్పుడైతే ట్రాఫిక్, ఓకే, అవుట్ సైడ్ నుంచి మన ఇన్సైడ్ నెట్వర్క్, ఓకే, దిస్ ఈజ్ అవర్ ఇన్సైడ్ నెట్వర్క్ అండ్ దిస్ ఈజ్ పబ్లిక్. ఓకే, దిస్ ఈజ్ ఇంటర్నెట్ కాబట్టి మనం అవుట్ సైడ్ అంటాం. మనకి ఎప్పుడైతే ట్రాఫిక్ అవుట్ సైడ్ నుంచి ఇన్సైడ్కి వస్తుందో దట్ విల్ బీ కాలింగ్ యాజ్ అన్ ఇన్బౌండ్ ట్రాఫిక్. ఓకే, అండ్ మనకి ఎప్పుడైతే ట్రాఫిక్ మన ఈ ప్రైవేట్ నెట్వర్క్ నుంచి పబ్లిక్ వెళ్తుందో, పబ్లిక్ అంటే ఇంటర్నెట్, దాన్ని అవుట్ సైడ్, ఓకే, అవుట్ బౌండ్ ట్రాఫిక్ అంటాం. ఓకే, సో ద ఫైర్వాల్ ఈజ్ అ సెక్యూరిటీ డివైస్ వేర్ ఇట్ ఈస్ గోయింగ్ టు మానిటర్, ఓకే, and inspect both inbound and outbound traffic. Okay, so it is going to monitor and control both inbound and outbound traffic by using some set of predefined rules. Okay, we are going to define, okay, మనం ఇక్కడ firewall లో some rules, okay, like uh, what what are the, okay, traffic that we are going to allow from outside, okay, from outside to inside and also from inside to outside. So the firewall is going to inspect your traffic, and as well as firewall is going to control your inbound or outbound traffic based upon the predefined rules. Okay, that is the purpose of that is the purpose of firewalls here. Okay, in the firewalls we will be having, okay, traditional firewalls, okay, and also next generation firewalls. Okay, so now we are going to learn whether Palo Alto firewall is a traditional firewall and next generation or next generation firewall. Okay, traditional firewalls, okay, whatever we have discussed before, okay, traditional firewalls are the firewalls where it is going to support, okay, where it is going to provide security based on L3 and L4 information. Okay, it's like, okay, మనకి ఇక్కడ ట్రెడిషనల్ ఫైర్ వాల్స్ అనేటివి ఐ ఐపీ అడ్రస్ బేస్ చేసుకొని కానీ పోర్ట్స్ని బేస్ చేసుకొని కానీ నీకు సెక్యూరిటీ ప్రొవైడ్ చేస్తుంది. ఓకే, సెక్యూరిటీ ప్రొవైడ్ చేయడం అంటే అది అలో చేయాలంటే అలో చేస్తారు, బ్లాక్ చేయాలంటే బ్లాక్ చేస్తారు బేస్డ్ అపాన్ ద ఐపీ అండ్ పోర్ట్ ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్. బట్ నెక్స్ట్ జనరేషన్ ఫైర్ వాల్స్ ఆర్ ద ఫైర్ వాల్స్. సో మనకి టెక్నాలజీ, ఓకే, మనకి టెక్నాలజీ ఇంక్రీజ్ అయింది, ఆ టెక్నాలజీ బట్టి మనకి అప్లికేషన్స్ ఇంక్రీజ్ అయ్యాయి అండ్ ఆల్సో ద ట్రాఫిక్ ఆల్సో ఇంక్రీజింగ్ డే బై డే, రైట్? సో ఫర్ ట్రెడిషనల్ firewalls, okay, to handle the L7 traffic, okay, for traditional firewalls to handle the L7 traffic, it is not, okay, the traditional firewalls is not capable of okay, handling the L7 traffic. Okay, it is only, okay, it is only supposed to handle only L3 L4. So our technology is going to increase day by day and applications are increasing more, right? So there comes to the picture, okay, the next generation firewalls comes to the picture where it is going to provide a security from L1 to L7 till L7 means from our dat, okay, from our physical layer to application layer, it is going to provide a security. So not only providing security based upon L1 and L7, it is also going to provide, okay, threat intelligence. Okay, okay, it is also going to identify threats and it is also going to identify antiviruses. Okay, and also it is going to identify vulnerabilities in our network. ఓకే, వెనెవర్ మనం ఎప్పుడైతే మనం సంథింగ్ ఫేస్బుక్ యాక్సెస్ చేస్తున్నాం, ఓకే, మనం ఇక్కడ కూర్చొని ఫేస్బుక్ యాక్సెస్ చేస్తున్నాం. సో ఫేస్బుక్ యాక్సెస్ చేసినప్పుడు ఇట్ హ్యాస్ టు బి రీచ్, ఓకే, ఇట్ హ్యాస్ టు బి రీచ్ ఫేస్బుక్ సర్వర్, రైట్? ఇన్ ద ఇంటర్నెట్ ఇట్ హ్యాస్ టు బి ఫేస్బుక్ సర్వర్. So it will reach the Facebook server and the Facebook server will provide, okay, whatever the connection that we have made, the Facebook provide will provide a connection, right? So before, okay, before getting access, okay, before getting access to the user, what firewall is going to do is firewall is going to inspect if any antivirus or if any threats are available in the whatever the facebook.com we are going to, okay, we are going to access. So if there is any antivirus or threat is detected, the firewall is going to block the traffic here, it is not going to allow to your network. So that is the main purpose of next generation firewalls. Okay, so now, so is Palo Alto is a traditional firewall or next generation firewall means Palo Alto firewall is a next generation firewall. Okay, because the Palo Alto is the next generation firewall where it is going to provide your provide the security to your network from layer 1 to layer 7. Apart from that, it is also going to, okay, it is also going to identify threats, antivirus vulnerabilities and if any available, okay, if there is if there are any available threads in your, okay, whatever the resources that you are using, or whatever the applications that you are using, and what are the urls that you are using, okay, that is also going to provide, okay, by you using an Palo Alto firewall. Okay, this is about firewalls and also the traditional firewalls and next generation firewalls. Okay, and now, so why we are going with an Palo Alto firewall? Okay, we already learned about Palo Alto firewall is a next generation firewall, and why we are going with an Palo Alto firewall means the Palo Alto firewall have some essential network security features where it is going to, okay, where it is going to monitor and inspect, okay, and also provide security to your network. Okay, the first one is a traffic control. So what is the traffic control means? Whatever we have discussed here, okay, whatever the inbound and whatever the outbound traffic that is going from your through the firewall, so it is going to monitor and control the traffic. Okay, monitor means since, so whatever the traffic coming from inside or outside, it is going to check whether it has to be allowed or not. Okay, సో మనం ఇక్కడ పాలసీస్ క్రియేట్ చేసి ఉంటాం కదా, ఆ పాలసీస్ బట్టి మన ఫైర్ వాల్ అనేది ఆ ట్రాఫిక్ని అలో చేయాలా బ్లాక్ చేయాలా అని చెక్ చేస్తుంది. ఓకే, అండ్ ఆల్సో నాట్ ఓన్లీ దట్, ఇట్ ఈస్ ఆల్సో ప్రొవైడింగ్ అండ్ ప్రొటెక్షన్ అగ్నెస్ట్ అటాక్. ఓకే, మనకి ఇప్పుడు ఏదైనా సపోజ్, ఓకే, మనం ఇంటర్నెట్ ఉంటున్నాం కాబట్టి ఇంటర్నెట్లో మల్టిపుల్ హ్యాకర్స్ ఉండొచ్చు. ఓకే, multiple attackers ఉండొచ్చు. సో దే ఆర్ గోయింగ్ టు, ఓకే, ఇఫ్ దే ఆర్ టార్గెటెడ్ యువర్ నెట్వర్క్, they are going to do multiple things to, okay, to destroy your network. Okay, so they are sending some, okay, continuous request, okay, continuous request to your network, so to connect some of your, okay, some of your systems in your network. Okay, so what firewall is going to do is firewall is going to check whether it has to be allowed this traffic or not. Okay, so by using an predefined rules, మనం ఏదైతే ముందర పాలసీస్ సెట్ చేసామో ఆ పాలసీస్ని ఇది చెక్ చేసేది వెదర్ మనకి ఇక్కడ ఏదైతే రిక్వెస్ట్ వస్తున్నాయో ఆ రిక్వెస్ట్ అలో చేయాలా లేదా అని. సో ఒకవేళ ఈ మల్టిపుల్, ఓకే, మనం ఇట్లా మల్టిపుల్ రిక్వెస్ట్ వచ్చేదాన్ని మనం ఏమవుతామైతే డాస్ అటాక్స్ అంటాం అనమాట. ఓకే, డినైల్ ఆఫ్ సర్వీస్ అటాక్స్ అనొచ్చు, లేదంటే సంథింగ్ దే ఆర్ సెండింగ్ సమ్, ఓకే, సమ్ యూఆర్ఎల్స్ ఆర్ సమ్ అప్లికేషన్స్ విచ్ హ్యావ్ ఎన్ threat information or antivirus, so they are sending to your network. Okay, so before sending that, what we have a firewall. Okay, we have a firewall as a barrier in between your, okay, public and private network. So the firewall is going to check if any, okay, DOS attacks are available in this, or if any threats or antivirus, okay, like that, if they have anything, it is going to block here. Okay, it is not allowing to enter your network, it is going to block here itself. Okay, so that's where the Palo Alto firewall is protecting your network, okay, against the attack. Okay, and the third one is in segmentation. Okay, segmentation in sense, I think మీరు స్విచ్చింగ్లో వీలాన్స్ గురించి వింటారు. ఓకే, వీలాన్స్ మనం ఎందుకు కాన్ఫిగర్ చేస్తాం? సో టు, ఓకే, టు డివైడ్ అవర్ హోల్ నెట్వర్క్ ఇంటూ different sub networks, right? So in the same way we are going to do a segmentation in the firewall. Okay, సో వీ హ్యావ్, ఓకే, ఇది ఒక ఫైర్వాల్ అనుకుందాం. ఈ ఫైర్వాల్లో మనకి మల్టిపుల్ యూజర్స్ కనెక్ట్ అయి ఉంటారు. ఓకే, సో మల్టిపుల్ యూజర్స్ కనెక్ట్ అయి ఉంటారు. సో ఈ యూజర్స్ ఇన్సైడ్ కనెక్ట్ అయి ఉంటారు. ఓకే, ఈ యూజర్స్ అవుట్ సైడ్ కనెక్ట్ అయి ఉంటారు. ఓకే, అవుట్ సైడ్ అంటే మనకి ఇది ఇంటర్నెట్ అనుకుందాం. ఓకే, ఇది ఇంటర్నెట్. ఇంటర్నల్లో మల్టిపుల్ యూజర్స్ ఉంటారు, మల్టిపుల్ హ్యాకర్స్ ఉంటారు, అటాకర్స్ ఉంటారు, సమ్ ఎవ్రీ వన్ విల్ బి దేర్ ఇన్ ద ఇంటర్నెట్, రైట్? బట్ దిస్ ఈజ్ అన్ అవర్ ఇన్సైడ్ నెట్వర్క్. ఓకే, ఇన్సైడ్ నెట్వర్క్ అంటే మనకి ఇన్సైడ్లో, ఓకే, అన్ అన్ అంత యాక్సెస్ చేసే వాళ్ళు ఉంటారు. ఓకే, ఇన్సైడ్ ఆఫ్ అవర్ నెట్వర్క్ వీ నో హూ దే ఆర్ అండ్ వీ నో వాట్ దే ఆర్ డూయింగ్. బట్ అవుట్ సైడ్ కనెక్ట్ అయిన వాళ్ళు మనకి వాళ్ళు ఏం చేస్తున్నారో ఏం యాక్సెస్ చేస్తున్నారో మనకు తెలియదు. సో ఇన్ ఆర్డర్ టు, ఓకే, ఇన్ ఆర్డర్ టు ప్రొటెక్ట్ అవర్, ఓకే, ఇప్పుడు ఒకవేళ మనకి ఇక్కడ ఏమి సెగ్మెంటేషన్ ఏం జరగలేదు అనుకో, వాట్ ఎవర్ ద యూజర్స్ దట్ దే హ్యావ్ కనెక్టెడ్ టు ద అవుట్ సైడ్ నెట్వర్క్, దే ఆర్ ఆల్సో ఏబుల్ టు యాక్సెస్ వాట్ ఎవర్ దే ఆర్ ఇన్సైడ్. ఓకే, వితౌట్ ఎనీ సెగ్మెంటేషన్. అంతే కదా, ఇప్పుడు మనకి ఒక స్విచ్ తీసుకుంటే స్విచ్ అనేది బ్రాడ్కాస్ట్ డొమైన్ కదా, ఈ స్విచ్ అనేది ఓల్డ్ బ్రాడ్కాస్ట్ డొమైన్. మనము ఒక ట్రాఫిక్ ఒక ఇంటర్ఫేస్ నుంచి సెండ్ చేసినప్పుడు ఇట్ విల్ బి, ఓకే, బ్రాడ్కాస్టింగ్ టు ఆల్ ఇంటర్ఫేసెస్. ఓకే, బట్ మనకి రిక్వైర్మెంట్ ఏంది, మనకి అన్ని ఇంటర్ఫేసెస్కి అవసరం లేదు. ఓకే, వీ నీడ్ ఓన్లీ దిస్ ట్రాఫిక్ నీడ్స్ టు బి బ్రాడ్కాస్ట్ ఓన్లీ ఫర్ ద సర్టెన్, ఓకే, సర్టెన్ పోర్ట్స్, సో దట్ ఫర్ దట్ రీజన్ వీఆర్ గోయింగ్ టు క్రియేట్ ఏ విలన్స్. అదేవిధంగా ఇక్కడ ఏంటి అంటే మనకి ఇక్కడ మనం ఏం చేస్తున్నామంటే సెగ్మెంటేషన్ విల్ బి డన్ బేస్డ్ ఆన్ ద జోన్స్. ఓకే, సో మనం ఇక్కడ ఏం క్రియేట్ చేస్తున్నామంటే జోన్స్ క్రియేట్ చేస్తాం. ఓకే, లైక్ హౌ వీఆర్ క్రియేటింగ్ ఏ విలన్స్ ఇన్ స్విచెస్, వీఆర్ గోయింగ్ టు క్రియేట్ ఏ జోన్స్ హియర్. సో జోన్స్ జోన్స్ క్రియేట్ చేయడం వల్ల ఏమవుతుందంటే మనకి ఇది ఒక జోన్ అనుకుందాం. ఓకే, ఇది అవుట్ సైడ్ కాబట్టి అవుట్ సైడ్ జోన్ అనుకుందాం. మన ఇది ప్రైవేట్ నెట్వర్క్ కాబట్టి ఇన్సైడ్ జోన్ అనుకుందాం. ఓకే, మనం ఇక్కడ జోన్స్ క్రియేట్ చేయడం వల్ల ఏమవుతుందంటే సో వీఆర్ రిస్ట్రిక్ట్ ద యాక్సెస్ టు విత్ ఇన్ ద జోన్ ఓన్లీ. ఓకే, whoever available in this particular inside zone, they are only communicate with themselves. Okay, they are not going to communicate with the other users in the other zones. అండ్ అట్ ద సేమ్ టైం ఇక్కడ మనకి ఎవరైతే యూజర్స్ ఈ జోన్లో అవైలబుల్ ఉన్నారో సో ఓన్లీ దోస్ పీపుల్ హూ ఆర్ అవైలబుల్ ఇన్ ద అవుట్ సైడ్ జోన్, దే ఓన్లీ కమ్యూనికేట్ విత్ దెమ్సెల్వ్స్ అండ్ దే ఆర్ నాట్ ఏబుల్ టు కమ్యూనికేట్ విత్ ద other people in the other zones. Okay, so from this, okay, segmentation, we are restricting these outside users to allow into our private network. Okay, so by creating a zones, so we are going to isolate our organization from the public. Okay, from the public, and we are going to protect our internal zones, or sorry, internal network, or internal traffic with from the public attackers or hackers. Okay, for that reason we are going to create a segmentation by using as zones. Okay, we'll learn more about these zones in coming slides. Okay, I will tell you brief about, okay, zones. So and the fourth one is in policy enforcement. Okay, policy enforcement, as we already discussed here, right, in the traffic classes, the firewall is going to monitor and filter all the incoming outgoing traffic based upon the predefined rules. Okay, so ఇక్కడ పాలసీ ఎన్ఫోర్స్మెంట్ ఏంటంటే విల్ బి హ్యావింగ్, ఓకే, ఇన్ ద యాక్షన్ విల్ బి హ్యావింగ్ అలో, ఓకే, మల్టిపుల్, ఓకే, మల్టిపుల్ యాక్షన్స్ విల్ బి, మనం ఈ ట్రాఫిక్ని అలో చేయాలంటే వీఆర్ గోయింగ్ టు క్రియేట్ ఏ ట్రాఫిక్ రూల్ విత్ యాక్షన్ అలో. మనం ఇక్కడ డ్రాప్ చేయాలంటే ట్రాఫిక్ని బ్లాక్ చేయాలంటే ఇక్కడ మనం డినే ఆర్ డ్రాప్ యూస్ చేస్తాం అనమాట. ఓకే, సో హియర్ వీఆర్ డూయింగ్ ఏ పాలసీ ఎన్ఫోర్స్మెంట్ బేస్డ్ అపాన్ యువర్ రిక్వైర్మెంట్. మనకి పర్టికులర్ ట్రాఫిక్ అలౌ చేయాలంటే వీఆర్ క్రియేటింగ్ అండ్ సెక్యూరిటీ పాలసీ ఆర్ సెక్యూరిటీ, ఓకే, వీఆర్ గోయింగ్ టు క్రియేట్ సెక్యూరిటీ రూల్ సో టు అలౌ ద ట్రాఫిక్. ఓకే, మన రిక్వైర్మెంట్ ఏంటి, సమ్ టైమ్స్ వీ హ్యావ్ టు, ఓకే, వీ హ్యావ్ టు బ్లాక్ సర్టెన్ ట్రాఫిక్. ఓకే, లెట్స్ టేక్ I have an hundreds users. Okay, I have 100 users in my company. So I want to, okay, I want to block, okay, Facebook for 50 users. Okay, I want to block Facebook for 50 users and I want to allow other 50 users, I need to act, okay, all the other 50 users need to access the Facebook. Okay, సో ఇక్కడ మనకి 50 యూజర్స్కి ఫేస్బుక్ బ్లాక్ చేయాలి, అదర్ 50 యూజర్స్కి ఫేస్బుక్ అలౌ చేయాలి. ఓకే, మనం ఏం చేస్తామంటే ఇక్కడ సెక్యూరిటీ రూల్ క్రియేట్ చేసి ఈ 50 యూజర్స్కి వీఆర్ గోయింగ్ టు క్రియేట్ వన్ రూల్ విత్ యాక్షన్ అలో అండ్ అప్లికేషన్ యాజ్ అ ఫేస్బుక్. అండ్ ఆల్సో అదర్ 50, ఓకే, అదర్ 50 యూజర్స్కి వీఆర్ క్రియేటింగ్ ఏ రూల్ విత్ యాక్షన్ డినే ఆర్ డ్రాప్. ఓకే, అండ్ వీఆర్ గోయింగ్ టు, ఓకే, యూజ్ దిస్ అప్లికేషన్ యాజ్ అ ఫేస్బుక్. ఓకే, మనకి ఇక్కడ మనం ఇక్కడ పాలసీ ఎన్ఫోర్స్మెంట్ చేస్తున్నాం. ఓకే, బేస్డ్ మన రిక్వైర్మెంట్ బట్టి. ఓకే, మనకి ఎవరికైతే ఏ 50 యూజర్స్కి అయితే ఫేస్బుక్ అప్లికేషన్ బ్లాక్ చేయాలనుకుంటామో మనం ఏం చేస్తామంటే పాలసీ క్రియేట్ చేసి అక్కడ మనం డినే డ్రాప్ అనే యాక్షన్ సెట్ చేస్తాం. సో ఆ 50 యూజర్స్కి ఈ పాలసీ అనేది అప్లికేబుల్ అవుతుంది. ఓకే, అప్పుడు మనకి హూఎవర్, ఓకే, మనకి ఆ 50 యూజర్స్ ఎవరైతే ఫేస్బుక్ యాక్సెస్ చేయడానికి ట్రై చేస్తుంటారో దే విల్ నాట్ ఏబుల్ టు యాక్సెస్. ఓకే, వీఆర్ గోయింగ్ టు బ్లాక్ ద ఫేస్బుక్ యాక్సెస్. మళ్ళీ నెక్స్ట్, ఓకే, నెక్స్ట్ 50 యూజర్స్ ఉన్నారు కదా, వాట్ ఎవర్ దే ఆర్ గోయింగ్ టు యాక్సెస్ ద ఫేస్బుక్, వీ హ్యావ్ కాన్ఫిగర్డ్ పాలసీ యాజ్ అలో, so they will get an access to the Facebook. Okay, they will able to access. So that is a policy enforcement. Okay, we are going to enforce the security policy to allow or block, okay, specific application అయినా కావచ్చు, సర్టెన్ యూజర్స్ అయినా కావచ్చు, అదేవిధంగా డేటా ఫ్లో అయినా కావచ్చు. డేటా ఫ్లో యూజర్స్ అంటే మనకి యూజర్ నేమ్స్ ఉంటాయి. ఓకే, if you are logging to the Windows machine, so you will be having specific username and credentials, right, specific username and password to log in. So in the same way you can also block the, okay, you can block the restrict the users to, okay, using a username, and also how they are, okay, how the data is flowing, okay, from inside to outside or outside to inside. So based upon the data flow also you can also enforce the policies. Okay, so that is depends on the your organization requirement. మనకి అలో కావాలంటే అలో చేయొచ్చు, బ్లాక్ కావాలంటే బ్లాక్ చేయొచ్చు. దట్స్ that purely depends on the organization requirement. Okay, and apart from policy enforcement, we are going to provide, okay, Palo Alto is going to provide monitoring and logging. Okay, monitoring and logging, what is monitoring and logging means, whatever the traffic, okay, inbound or outbound traffic, okay, the firewall is going to monitor, and also firewall is going to log every session. Okay, so whatever the traffic that is coming, okay, let's take, I have a firewall, and the traffic is coming. Okay, first I am getting some Facebook traffic. Okay, so some user is accessing the Facebook. Okay, so what firewall is going to do is, firewall is going to log the session here in the, okay, in the firewall. Okay, let's take particular user, okay, user A, okay, accessing the Facebook. It is going to log in the firewall, the user is A, and he is using the application as a Facebook. Okay, and in this, okay, in this log it will also having source IP, okay, and destination IP. It will be, okay, it is, he is using a Facebook in the website, right? It is going to use HTTPS. Okay, what is the, okay, what is the port number of HTTPS? Do anyone know the port number of HTTPS?
443.
Double four
440.
three.
440.
Yeah, 440, that is the destination port, and it will also having a source port, any random port. Okay, let's take 123, and destination port as an 443. Okay, so it is going to log this. Okay, for particular user A, he is going to access the Facebook with source IP this, and destination IP is this, and source port, destination port. Okay, it is going to log all this information in the session. Okay, in the firewall. And let's take, I have a user B. Okay, I have a user B, and he is going to access Instagram. Okay, let's take, he is going to access Instagram. Okay, it is going to log, okay, the user B with accessing Instagram, and for every PC there will be having a different source IPs, right? So it is going to log source IP, and whatever the Instagram server IP, that will be in the destination IP. Okay, so source port, any random source port. Okay, so source port, let's take 456, and he is also using any, okay, Instagram in a web browser, so it will be having same HTTPS traffic, right? So the destination port will be 443. Okay, so like this, it is going to log the session for every traffic that is hitting the firewall. Okay, whatever the traffic that is hitting on the firewall, it is going to log the session like this. Okay, that is the logging. Okay, so if it is identified, okay, sometimes, okay, మనకి యూజర్ ఏ ఫేస్బుక్ యాక్సెస్ చేసినాడు. Okay, sometimes maybe if any, okay, threats or antivirus is detected on this Facebook. Okay, what firewall is going to do is, firewall is going to drop this session here, and the user A will not get any access to the Facebook. Okay, so it is going to, okay, not only logging, it is also monitoring the sessions, right? In the monitoring, if the firewall is detected any, okay, unusual activity, or it is identified any threats or antivirus in that particular website, it is going to block the session here. Okay, it is not providing an access. Okay, that is the monitoring and logging that Palo Alto Firewall is going to provide. Okay, and sixth one is an VPN support. Okay, what is VPN support means? So we'll be having multiple VPNs like site to site VPN. Okay, and remote access VPNs. Okay, so in the site to site VPNs, mostly we are going to use IPsec. Okay, so I think you people heard about the term called IPsec, right? So in the in the site to site, we are going to use, okay, IPsec as an protocol, and we'll be having remote access VPNs. So for every firewall vendor, they will be having a specific, okay, remote access VPNs. Okay, for if you choose Palo Alto Firewall, they will be having global protect. Okay, they will be having global protect as an remote access VPNs. So if you take FortiGate, they will be having FortiClient, or if you take Cisco, they will be having any connect as a remote access VPNs. Okay, so we are going to learn this IPsec and, okay, global protect in upcoming classes. So we'll more focus. Okay, will you will learn more about this IPsec and global protect in upcoming classes. But this Palo Alto Firewall is going to support all those VPNs. Okay, so it will be between, okay, same vendor or different vendor. Okay, you can form site to site VPN between, okay, same vendor means one side Palo Alto, other side also Palo Alto, and also you can also okay, you can also support, it can also support one side Palo Alto, other side any other vendor like FortiGate, okay, and Checkpoint, or Cisco ESA firewalls. You can use that. Okay, we'll learn more about that in the VPN support. Okay, And these are the some essential network components or network features that Palo Alto Firewall is going to support. Okay, and next thing we'll be having hardware models. Okay, so before proceeding, do you have any questions, or do you need any clarifications till what we have discussed? Anything, guys?
No, sir.
Okay,
No, sir.
okay, perfect.
Anna, I have one doubt actually.
Yes.
ఇది యాక్చువల్గా లేయర్ 3 లేయర్ 4 ఏసీఎస్
Ah.
తో మనం చేయొచ్చు కదా. సో
Mm.
ట్రెడిషనల్ ఫైర్ వాళ్ళు కూడా సేమ్ లేయర్ 3 లేయర్ 4 కదా, డిఫరెన్స్ ఏంటి?
See, traditional firewall low only it will support till layer 3, layer 4 only. Based upon the IPs and based upon the ports, it is going to provide a security. But if you come with layer 7, the traditional firewall is not going to support. Traditional firewall support చేయదు. ఎందుకంటే it has no capability to identify the applications, okay? And it will not providing in security whenever you see any application traffic on the traditional firewalls, because it don't know, and it don't know the feature, and it doesn't have, okay, feasibility to verify the traffic. So to provide an, okay, to provide security, and to know what type of application that you are going to use and users are going to use, only next generation firewalls have the capability to identify that. So that is the reason we are going with mostly next generation firewall. Traditional firewalls are legacy firewalls. Now we are not using anywhere these traditional firewalls. All the firewalls are the next generation firewalls only, because it is going to provide security till layer 7, right? So till layer 7, okay, what type of application you are using, and what is, okay, which type of traffic it is, this next generation firewall is going to identify.
యా, ఓకే. కానీ రౌటర్స్ లో ఏసీఎస్ కాన్ఫిగర్ చేస్తాం కదా,
Oh,
దాంట్లో కూడా సేమ్ లేయర్ 3 లేయర్ 4 కదా మనం
అవును,
పోర్ట్స్ అండ్ ఐపీసీస్.
అవును,
సో
పోర్ట్స్ అండ్
సేమ్
ఐపీస్.
అలానే ట్రెడిషనల్ ఫైర్ వాళ్ళు కూడా సేమ్ రిలేటెడ్ టు
అంతే,
ఏసీఎల్స్ కదా.
అంతే, అంతే, కరెక్ట్, ఎస్.
ఓకే, ఓకే. యా, థ్యాంక్ యూ.
Yeah, okay, guys, we can move forward. Okay, so in the Palo Alto firewall, okay, what are the, okay, which type of models we can see, whether Palo Alto firewall is a software or hardware models. Okay, if you have a question, okay, like that, if is Palo Alto firewall a software based or a hardware based, for that question, the Palo Alto firewall supports both software, okay, and also hardware models. Okay, so if you have capable of handling the hardware models like physical firewalls, or if you have a space, okay, rack space to, okay, to place these hardware firewalls, you can just go with, okay, buy hardware firewalls, and you can use those hardware firewalls. Okay, if you don't have rack space, or if you are not capable of handling these hardware firewalls, you can go with software firewalls. Okay, software firewalls, like it will be, you can, if you have, okay, VM running anywhere, okay, in your environment, you can just install the software images in the VMs. Okay, we'll be having VM workstation, or we'll be having ESXi. All those are the VM environments, and also this software firewall will also run on the cloud as well. Okay, cloud in the sense you will be having Google Cloud, GCP, right, or AWS or Azure. Okay, so all these environments you can run the software firewalls. Okay, if you have VMs, you can spin these software firewalls in the VMs, and we can run firewalls. Or if you have a cloud access, if you have a subscription to the Google Cloud or AWS or Azure, you can spin these software firewalls in those, so and you can use. Okay, so for our lab purpose, so we are using the software firewalls only. Okay, we are going to install the VM workstations, and I will be providing a software firewall images. So we will be spinning in the VM workstations, and we are going to use the firewalls from the VMs. Okay, so these are the, okay, we'll be having, okay, the Palo Alto will be having both software and hardware firewalls. Okay, so hardware firewalls, okay, let's focus on hardware firewalls now. So in the hardware firewalls, మనకి ఇక్కడ Palo Alto లో hardware firewalls ఎలా ఉంటాయంటే, it will be having different models. Okay, so you can see here, ఇక్కడ మనకి PA220 and PA400 are the series. Okay, different series. Okay, PA hardware models will be starting with PA. Okay, and again you will be having a number. Okay, you will be having a number, whether it is 220 or whether it is 400 or 5200, okay, and 3200, or we will be having 7000 series, and latest we will also having an 4000 series 1400 series firewalls, okay. So hardware models will start with, okay, and software also will start with, okay, PA only, PAVM like that. But if you see the hardware model, you can see the number here, okay. So 220 is one model, 400 is other model, and we'll be having 800, and we'll be having 3200, 5200, 7000, and latest we'll also having an PA 1400 series as well, okay. We'll be having 1410 or 1420, we'll be having those. So why we have these many models? Why can't we use 220 everywhere? Why can't we use 400 everywhere? So why can't we use, means based upon your, okay, company size, okay. So if you have, okay, if you have 50 users, you will be maintaining any, okay, small branch office which have 50 to 100 users, okay. Let's a minute. సో ఇక్కడ మనకి ఏంటంటే నీకు ఒక బ్రాంచ్ ఆఫీస్ ఉంది. సో అక్కడ నీకు వీళ్ళు తక్కువ యూజర్స్ ఉన్నారు, ఓకే. లెట్స్ టేక్ యూ విల్ బి హ్యావింగ్ 50 ఆర్ 100 యూజర్స్, ఓకే. And if you are buying, okay, high capacity firewalls, so if you take, okay, 7000 is an high capacity firewall and high performance firewall, where it costs like crores, okay. Let's take it cost 1 crore. So you will be having only less users, and you will company budget only, and like, okay, just take your company budget is like 50 lakhs, or else your company budget is 30 lakhs, okay. Your company budget is 30 lakhs. If you are going with 1 crore firewall and with high end performance, that's not required, right, for your company with less users. So that is the reason, okay, Palo Alto has, okay, has designed these hardware models based upon your enterprise, okay, size. So if you have less number of users and if your network has less traffic, so just go with, okay, 220 or 4000 series firewalls. It will cost like 2 lakhs, or okay, it will cost, okay, 5 lakhs like that, okay. That will be a budget, and that will also supports, okay, that will also suits your requirement, okay. If you have less users, you can just go with your small, okay, small hardware model. And if you have, okay, small to medium size company, let's take you will be having, okay, 500 to 1000 users, okay. If you have 500 to 1000 users, okay, just go with 8000 series firewalls, where it will support, okay, small to medium size and with a good performance, okay. So see here, all these firewalls, okay, all these firewall model security wise, they won't compromise anywhere, okay. But based upon your company network size, based upon the traffic that is flowing in your network, ద పర్ఫార్మెన్స్, ఓకే. అండ్ మనం ఇక్కడ చూసినట్టయితే మీరు మొబైల్, ఓకే, ఫర్ సపోజ్ మీరు మొబైల్ మీ మమ్మీ, ఓకే, మీ ఇంట్లో వాళ్ళకి ఎలా కొనిస్తారు, మీరు ఎలా కొనుక్కుంటారు. మీ ఇంట్లో వాళ్ళకి జస్ట్ ఏం చేస్తారు, వాళ్ళు ఓన్లీ కాల్ మాట్లాడుకోవడానికి కానీ, లేదంటే వాళ్ళు ఏమైనా వాట్సాప్ చాటింగ్ కోసమని వాళ్ళు జస్ట్ సింపుల్గా మనం ఏం చేస్తాం, అండ్ 8 GB ర్యాము లేకుంటే 6 GB ర్యాము, లేదంటే ఒక 128 GB తక్కువ ప్రాసెసర్, తక్కువ మెమరీ చూసి వాళ్ళకి కొనిస్తాం కదా, ఎందుకంటే వాళ్ళ యూసేజ్ తక్కువ కాబట్టి. మనం ఎలా కొనుక్కుంటాం, మనం గేమ్స్ ఆడుకోవాలా, తర్వాత మనం వర్క్ చేసుకోవాలా, లేదంటే మన రిక్వైర్మెంట్ ఎక్కువ ఉంటాయి. సో మనం ఏం చేస్తామంటే మనం 8 GB ర్యామ్ కానీ 256 GB మెమరీ, అలా మన యూసేజ్ బట్టి మనం ఎక్కువ కొనుక్కుంటాం. ఇన్ ద సేమ్ వే, if the company has, okay, if the company has less users and they have less traffic, they are going with an small firewalls which having and good, okay, which having less processor and less GB of RAM. సో మనం 6 GB ర్యామ్ మొబైల్ కొన్నా, 8 GB ర్యామ్ మొబైల్ కొన్నా, రెండు వర్క్ అయ్యి సేమ్ విధం, రెండు మాట్లాడుకోవచ్చు, రెండిట్లో వాట్సాప్, ఓకే, రెండిట్లో చాటింగ్ చేసుకోవచ్చు, రెండిట్లో సేమ్. మనం 6 GB ర్యామ్ మొబైల్ ఏం మనం ఏం పర్ఫార్మెన్స్ అంటే, ఐ మీన్ ఏం యూసేజ్ ఉంటుందో, సేమ్ 8 GB ర్యామ్లో కూడా సేమ్ యూసేజ్, బట్ ద ప్రాసెసర్ వైజ్ అండ్ మెమరీ వైజ్ దట్ విల్ బి డిఫరెంట్, రైట్. So in the same way, these Palo Alto firewalls also, the processor wise and okay, sorry, the security wise, all firewalls will work in the same way. But okay, based upon your network usage and based upon your traffic that is coming into your network, we are going to select, okay. If your company is small, you are going with, okay, 220 and 400. If your company is small to medium, you can go ahead with 800. If your company is mid-size organization, okay, if you have, okay, thousands of users and you are going to, yeah, there is more traffic that is going and coming into your network, you can go with, okay, 3200 series. And if your company is large enterprise, okay, if your company is large enterprise and data centers, so you will be having, okay, very high traffic, okay, very high traffic and most users, okay, you will be having many users in your network. So 5200 is one, okay, which is going to support. And if you take ISPs, okay, we'll be having multiple ISPs, right? Airtel, like Airtel and Jio, Vodafone, Tata will be having ISPs, right? So in the ISPs, these 7000 series firewalls are very much suitable because if you take ISP, there are multiple customers are going to, okay, connect your ISP network, right? So it is going to isolate every it is the 7000 series firewalls is going to isolate every customer traffic, okay. So it will be having different modules, okay. In the 7000 series firewalls, it will be having different modules where it is going to isolate your corporate network, okay. And these are the hardware models based upon your company requirement and based upon your company says you are going to select, okay. And if you take software models, these are the software models we'll be having, okay. Software models also starting with, okay, VM, and you can see VM 50, okay. We'll be having VM 100, VM 300 and VM 500 as well, okay. This is also based upon your company size and company requirement, okay. So for small and so, okay, for the small enterprise and small deployments, you can go with VM 50, and for smaller to medium, okay, smaller to medium 100 and medium 300 and large enterprise, you can go with VM 500 series firewalls, okay. So if you opt for software or hardware models, or if you are going to opt, okay, any of the series, okay, in the firewall models, all firewalls will provide security in the same way, okay. um, and it will not compromise in the security. If you take, okay, if you have a doubt, okay, if I take to 220, you mentioned about this has a less performance, and if I take 7000 series firewalls, it has a high performance. So this performance is based upon our RAM, okay. Performance in the sense how these firewalls is going to handle your traffic, okay. But this cannot, okay, this cannot contribute this to the your security, okay. It will not compromise security on any level, okay. So all the firewalls will provide equal security, but based upon your requirement, you can go ahead with, okay. If you have a budget of 30 lakhs and if you are going to buy 1 crore rupee firewall, that is not, okay, that is not suitable, right? So that is the reason we will be having multiple, okay, multiple series of firewalls or multiple models here. So based upon your requirement and based upon your company size, you have to choose the firewall models, okay. So these are all the firewall models in the Palo Alto firewall. You will be having software or hardware models, and if you have, okay, if you are going with software models, you can just opt for software or hardware. You are going to buy all this, okay, any of these firewalls, okay. And if you see, I have taken some pictures from, okay, how the firewalls is look like. So if you take 220 and 400 series firewalls, it will just like an okay, if you see this firewall, it will just like a స్వీట్ బాక్స్, ఓకే. మనకి స్వీట్ బాక్స్ ఎలా ఉంటుంది, సేమ్ అదే సైజులో ఉంటుంది. సో అంతే వెయిట్ కూడా అట్లానే ఉంటుంది, మరి మచ్ వెయిట్ ఏమి ఉండదు, ఓకే. జస్ట్ మనకి స్వీట్ బాక్స్ ఎలా ఉంటుందో అదే సైజులో ఉంటుంది. బట్ ఇట్ ఈస్ గోయింగ్ టు ప్రొవైడ్, ఓకే, ఇట్ ఈస్ గోయింగ్ టు సపోర్ట్ స్మాలర్ ఎంటర్ప్రైజ్, ఓకే. అండ్ ఇట్ ఈస్ గోయింగ్ టు ప్రొవైడ్ సెక్యూరిటీ టు యువర్ స్మాలర్ ఎంటర్ప్రైజ్. అండ్ ఇక్కడ చూసుకున్నట్టయితే మనకి ఇంటర్ఫేసెస్ ఉన్నాయి, ఓకే. సో విల్ డిస్కస్ మోర్ అబౌట్ దీస్ ఇంటర్ఫేసెస్, ఓకే, ఇన్ ద నెక్స్ట్ స్లైడ్స్, ఓకే. విల్ బి హ్యావింగ్ ఇంటర్ఫేస్ టైప్స్. So this is 220, and these are the 400 series firewalls. These are 800 series. This is 5200 series firewalls. In those also we will be having different things. Okay, 5260, 5220, 5250, 5280. Okay, and these are all the 3200 series firewalls. And if you see, these are the 7000 series firewalls. It will be like just an big size firewalls. Okay, we'll be having multiple modules here. Okay, so to separate any traffic, we'll be having modules. So if you want traffic for one customer, you can use this module, or other customer you can use this module, so that we can separate customer traffic on this 7000 series firewalls. Mostly it will be useful in the ISPs, because ISPs only will be having multiple customers, right? So it is suitable in the ISPs, okay. And if you, okay, the next thing we'll be having an interface types, okay. If you take here, so if you see the 2000 series, sorry, 200, okay. So if you see this PA220, you will be having multiple, okay, interfaces, right? So for every firewall, okay, not only firewall, for every networking device. So for every networking device, we'll be having console port and we'll be having management port, okay. So why we are going to use management port and why we are going to use console port, okay, we'll discuss. Apart from that, we'll be having, okay, all our, this will be calling as an data plane interface, okay. So before going to that, I want to tell you one thing, okay. In Palo Alto Firewall, we'll be having two planes, okay. So one is management plane, okay, and second one is data plane, okay. So all the management traffic, okay, and all the, okay, all the management traffic and management routing will be taken care by management plane, okay. And our real traffic will be there, right? Whatever the real traffic that is flowing in your network, that will be taken care by the data plane, okay. All the routing stuff and ARP tables, all this, okay, will be handled by the data plane, and management traffic will be handled by the management plane, okay, and accessing the firewalls, okay. And these firewalls, we are going to access these firewall, Palo Alto firewall, you can access through web GUI, okay. From the web you can access, and as well as CLI, okay, using SSH. So using SSH, you can use the CLI of the firewall, and using HTTPS, which is called web, okay, we can use an web GUI, okay. Mostly we can configure, okay, we can use this firewall and configure anything on the firewall using web GUI. And for the troubleshooting part, we can use the CLI here, okay. So just remember this, whatever we are going to configure, we can use the GUI, and we can also troubleshoot using a GUI as well. For some purpose, we are going to use a CLI, log in the firewall using SSH, and we can access the CLI of the firewall, and we can troubleshoot, okay. So now the first interface type is management interface, okay. What we are going to use using, and what we are going to okay, what we are going to do with the management interface, okay. For every firewall, you can see one management interface, okay. This is one management interface of the firewall, and this will be having management interface, this will be having management interface, okay. And here also this will be having management. Every firewall will be having one management interface, one data, okay, sorry, one console port, okay. So why we are going to use management port here, okay. So in order to access GUI or CLI of the firewall, okay, we need a management interface, okay. So we are going to configure one IP here on the management interface, and using this IP we are going to log in GUI and CLI of the firewall, okay. I told you, right, GUI mainly we can use configuring everything on the firewall, and also we can use troubleshooting as well, okay. For some, okay, for some troubleshooting we have to use CLI. We can learn more about that in the upcoming classes, okay. So first one is a management interface, which will be having dedicated interface used for management traffic, such as, okay, web interface, okay, accessing web interface or SSH, okay. So using okay, using this management interface, we are going to access firewall's web interface or CLI using SSH, okay. For that purpose, we are going to use management interface. And the second one is an HA interface, okay. So apart from, okay, apart from, if you see here, okay, you will not having, okay, HA interfaces here or here on this. If you see other firewalls, okay, let's see on the PA800 series, okay. You will be not having HA interfaces here or here, 220 or 400. If you see here on 800 series firewalls, apart from management and console port, you will be having other set of, okay, other set of interfaces, okay. So what are those interfaces means? Those are HA interfaces, okay. These are all HA interfaces. Why we are using HA interfaces means, so manaki, so you will be having a big network, okay. You will be having big network, and you have only one firewall in your network to protect, okay, whatever the traffic coming from outside, or whatever the attackers that is, okay, attacking your network. This firewall is the only one which we are, okay, this is the only firewall which is going to protect your network from the attackers, okay. Now this firewall went down, okay, this firewall went down, so there will be an vulnerability, right? So your private network is exposed, your private network is exposed to the public. Now there is no, okay, there is no barrier or there is no bridge for the, okay, for the hackers or attackers to enter in a network. So in that case, what we are going to use, we are going to use two firewalls, okay, two firewalls in an for redundancy purpose, okay. So that is, okay, for redundancy purpose we are going to use two firewalls, right? So this concept will be calling as an high availability, okay. So we'll be calling as an high availability. So in high availability we'll be having two interfaces, one is HA1, okay, and other one is HA2, okay. Those will be calling as an H interfaces. Some firewalls will be having dedicated H interfaces, some firewalls will not have dedicated H interfaces. Where I told you, right, this PA220 and PA400 series firewalls will don't have any dedicated H interface. And here will be, you can see we will be having dedicated H interface on this 8000, and you can see dedicated H interfaces here as well, okay. Here you will be having dedicated H interface, you will see a dedicated H interfaces here as well. And for this we can, okay, we can configure, okay, we can configure on this later. And so if the firewalls don't have, okay, dedicated H interfaces, how we are going to connect in high availability means we are going to use, okay, we are going to use data plane interface. You can choose any two interfaces and configure those interface as an HA type HA. So those will be converted as an H interfaces, okay. So we'll learn more about this in high availability class. So we'll be having a separate high availability class for this. I think in the routing concept, you are well aware of VRRP, right? So do you know about VRRP,
Yes, sir.
right?
Yes, sir.
So that is the same concept, okay. So here also high availability is the same concept. So in the VRRP you are using a two routers, so one will be acting as an active, one will be acting as a passive standby. Here also in the same way, one firewall will be acting as an active, so one firewall will be acting as a passive, okay. Here also will be having election process. So how the election will be happen means by exchanging the information using these two interfaces, okay. So these are the H interfaces where we are going to use in high availability, okay. We can learn more about this HA1, HA2 and high availability in the high availability case, okay. And we'll be having, okay, the third one is a tap interface, okay. So we need to discuss more about this tap interface. So let me erase this first. So why we are going to tap interface, okay. So tap interface mostly using for the monitoring purpose, okay. So how it is going to monitor means, okay, let's take you have a network, okay. Let's take you have a network, okay. You will be having users here, and you have connected to the, okay, switch, and you have a routers, and you have a WAN router, and this WAN router is connected to the internet, okay. And these are the users connected to the switch is connected to your internal router, LAN router, and your LAN router is connected to the WAN router, and WAN router is connected to the internet, okay. And okay, your user is going to, okay, here there is no firewall in between, okay. Now there is no firewall, and whatever the user accessing, okay, it is going through this, and you are accessing, you are creating access list here, and you are allowing every traffic that is coming, that is going out, and also whatever the traffic coming inside you are also accepting, okay. We don't know what type of traffic it is coming, and we don't know, మనకు తెలియదు. మనం ఇక్కడ జస్ట్ మనం రౌటర్స్ యూస్ చేసుకొని మనం ట్రాఫిక్ని అలో చేస్తున్నాం, ఓకే. ఏసీఎల్స్ కాన్ఫిగర్ చేస్తాం, వాట్ ఎవర్ ద ట్రాఫిక్ గోయింగ్ అవుట్ సైడ్, వాట్ ఎవర్ ద ట్రాఫిక్ కమింగ్ ఇన్ సైడ్, వీఆర్ జస్ట్ అలోయింగ్, బట్ వీ డోంట్ నో వాట్ టైప్ ఆఫ్ ట్రాఫిక్ ఇట్ ఈస్, ఓకే. సో యూ హ్యావ్ ఎ రిక్వైర్మెంట్ నౌ. So I want to monitor my traffic, I want to monitor my entire network, okay. I want to monitor my entire network. So I want to know what type of traffic that is going out and what type of traffic that is coming in. So for that purpose, we are going to use a firewall with a tap interface. Okay. So in between, we are going to buy. Okay. నేను ఒక ఫైర్వాల్ కొనుక్కొని ఏం చేశానంటే, నేను ఫైర్వాల్ని ఇక్కడ ఒక ఇంటర్ఫేస్ని ట్యాప్ ఇంటర్ఫేస్గా కన్వర్ట్ చేసి అది నేను స్విచ్ కనెక్ట్ చేశాను, ఓకే. స్విచ్లో ఏమంటే ఇది స్పాన్ పోర్ట్ అంటాం, okay. This is a mirroring, okay. Mirroring in the sense whatever the traffic that receives on the port, okay, the whatever the traffic receives on the switch, okay, that is going to okay, that is going to forward all the traffic onto the firewalls, okay. మిర్రరింగ్ ఇన్ ది సెన్స్ మనం మిర్రర్ ముందు నిలబడితే అవతల పక్క కూడా మనమే కనపడతాం కదా. సో వాట్ ఎవర్ ద ట్రాఫిక్ దట్ ఈస్ మన ఇక్కడ ఏదైతే ట్రాఫిక్ ఈ స్విచ్ రిసీవ్ చేసుకుంటుందో ఆ మొత్తం ట్రాఫిక్ అనేది స్విచ్ అనేది ఈ మిర్రర్ పోర్ట్ ద్వారా, అంటే మనం ఫైర్ వాల్లో మిర్రర్ అంటాం, సారీ స్విచ్లో మిర్రర్ ఆర్ స్పాన్ పోర్ట్ అంటాం, అండ్ ఇక్కడ ఫైర్ వాల్ వచ్చేసి ట్యాప్ ఇంటర్ఫేస్ అంటాం. ఓకే, సో ఈ మిర్రర్ పోర్ట్ ద్వారా మనకి అంత ఓకే ద స్విచ్ అనేది ట్రాఫిక్ అంతా మనకి ఫైర్ వాల్కి సెండ్ చేస్తుంది. ఓకే, సో ద ఫైర్ వాల్ ఏం చేస్తుంది, ఫైర్ వాల్ లాగ్ చేసుకుంటుంది కదా. మనం వీఆర్ ఆల్రెడీ డిస్కస్ అబౌట్ మానిటరింగ్ అండ్ లాగింగ్, రైట్? వాట్ ఎవర్ ద ట్రాఫిక్ కమింగ్ ఆన్ టు ద ఫైర్ వాల్, ఇట్ ఈస్ మానిటరింగ్ అండ్ లాగింగ్. Okay, so for after 3 months or 6 months, okay, in your company there is some auditing is going on. Okay, so to know what type of traffic is coming into your network, so the firewall administrator will be there and they will take the report, okay, for last 3 to 6 months, and they will verify if any legitimate traffic, okay, if there is any unauthorized access is coming to your network. Okay, that is the purpose of tap interface. Okay, without altering anything in your network, మనం ఇక్కడ మీ నెట్వర్క్ ఏమీ చేంజెస్ చేయలేదు. ఐఎమ్ జస్ట్ కనెక్టెడ్ వన్ ఆఫ్ ది ఇంటర్ఫేస్ ఆన్ ద ఫైర్ వాల్ అండ్ టు ద వన్ ఆఫ్ ది ఇంటర్ఫేస్ టు యువర్ స్విచ్. సో ఇఫ్ యూ వాంట్ టు కనెక్ట్ టు ద స్విచ్, దెర్ ఈస్ నథింగ్ వీ కెన్ డూ, రైట్? సో we are just connected one okay firewall with a tap interface to the switch and with the mirror port. So whatever the traffic coming, okay, to your network or going out, the switch will be mirroring all the traffic to the firewall. Okay, so whenever there is audit is going on, they will be taking the report from the firewall and they will audit whatever the traffic that receives within that 3 to 6 months. Okay, that is the purpose of tap interface deployment. Okay, it will just monitor, okay, all the traffic that is okay, that is coming or that is okay going out and coming into your network. Okay, so that is purpose of tap interface. And we'll be having layer 2 interface. Okay, in the firewalls, okay, if you configure one interface as a layer 2, it will be acting as a switch. Okay, and it will functions like a switch and it will be okay work based upon okay MAC addresses. And if you have a if you want to convert the type as a layer 3, so you can okay configure the take one interface and whatever the interface that you want, okay, convert that into the layer 3 that will be working as a router. Okay, if it is working as a router, it needs a routing table, right? So we'll be having virtual routers here. So in the virtual router you have to configure the routes based whatever the routes that you want to allow from this L3 interface, you can configure in the virtual router. And based upon the traffic that received on the okay మనకి ఏదైతే ట్రాఫిక్ ఈ ఇంటర్ఫేస్ మీద రిసీవ్ అయిందో, that is going to check the routes in the virtual router, and if it is allow, okay, if there is a route in the routing table, it will allow, or otherwise it will be blocking. Okay, so that is the purpose of layer 3 interface. And we'll be having okay virtual wire interface as well. So what is the purpose of virtual wire? Okay, how we are using a tap interface, the virtual wire interface is also same way. So I will explain you. So we can take the same okay same scenario. So we can take the same scenario here. Okay, and you will be having okay user, the user is connected to the switch is connected to the LAN router, and LAN router is connected to the WAN router, and your WAN router is connected to the internet. Okay, so all the traffic is flowing as it is how we have discussed before. Okay, and okay everything is flowing out, okay, and coming in. And now the okay whoever the administrator will be there, right, they want to okay they want to audit the traffic, and they want to know whether any unauthorized access is okay entering into network, and also to block the traffic as well. Okay, they want to identify if any unauthorized access coming into your network, and if they have identified unauthorized, they want to block. Okay, for that purpose we are going to install the firewall using an virtual wire interfaces. Okay, so here in between your routers will be there, right? Between your LAN and WAN router we are going to add firewall with virtual wire interface transparently. Okay, without changing any network configuration, we are going to install the we are going to install the firewall transparently with okay virtual wire interfaces. So whatever the interface that are connected here, okay, from LAN router to the firewall, here one virtual wire interface, and here also one interface that is connected to the WAN router, okay. So these two interfaces in a virtual wire mode. If it is a virtual wire mode, this will be acting as a transparent, okay. This router and this router don't know we have a route, okay, we have a firewall in between. But these, okay, ఇవి రెండు ఎలా 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 వర్క్ అవుతాయి అంటే, these both routers will work as it has directly connected, but we have an firewall in between which we have connected transparently using a virtual wire interface, okay. So now whatever the traffic that is going outside and whatever the traffic coming inside, so this firewall is going to log the sessions, right? So everything is going to log, okay. Now the administrator need to, okay, audit the situation and audit your, okay, network traffic, okay, from 3 to 6 months of traffic. So they will take all the reports. If they have identified any unauthorized access, okay, if they have unauthorized access that is entering in network, so what they are going to do is they are going to create a rules, okay. So in the firewall, ఇక్కడ మనకి ఫైర్వాల్ ఉంది కదా, సో ఫైర్వాల్లో దే ఆర్ గోయింగ్ టు క్రియేట్ ఏ రూల్స్. సో based upon the rules that we have created, the unauthorized access that is entering a network will be blocked here, okay. ఇక్కడ మనకి firewall block చేస్తుంది because we don't want any unauthorized access enter in our network, okay. So before entering in your LAN network, the firewall will identify that unauthorized access based upon your rules, and it is going to block here, okay. So without changing any network configuration, this is, just remember, just remember this, we are not going to change any configuration, okay. So between, if you have any device connected between the routers, we need to change the configuration, right? Because if you connected the routers, this will be one network and this will be one network, but we are not going to change anything, okay. This is virtual wire which is acting as a transparent, okay. So both routers think that it is, those are the directly connected and they are saying the traffic cast is, okay. So we are not going to change any network configuration, we are just adding a firewall transparently with virtual wire mode, okay. So this is the purpose of virtual wire interface, okay. What is main difference between tap interface and virtual wire interface means, in the tap interface we are not going to block anything, okay, we are just analyzing and monitoring the situation. But if you want to block anything, okay, if you want to block any unauthorized access, you want without changing any network configuration, you can go with firewall with virtual wire interface modes, okay. So this is a concept of, okay, virtual wire interface. And we'll be having aggregate interface, okay. Aggregate interface, I think you are well aware of the ether channels or port channels, right, in the routing part. So in the same way, we'll be having aggregate interface where you are going to bind multiple, okay, multiple interfaces if as in one logical interface to increase the bandwidth or to provide redundancy, okay. So the aggregate interface same works like an ether channels or port channels in your routing part. So here we'll be calling as an aggregate interface, okay. And we'll be having one more thing, okay, one more interface called VLAN interface, where if you want to carry any VLAN traffic, okay, if you want to carry, if you have multiple VLANs and if you want to carry any VLAN traffic, so here in the firewall, okay, and we need to create a sub interface. So we'll be having one interface, okay. Let's take, we'll be having Ethernet 1/1. So between this we are going to create sub interface. For one sub interface we are going to assign one VLAN, okay. So these sub interfaces are, okay, responsible to carry those VLAN traffic, okay. So within a single physical interface we can carry multiple VLAN traffic, okay. That is one good thing within Palo Alto. And the last one is an tunnel interface, okay. So we have discussed about site to site VPN and remote access VPN, right? So to configure that tunnel, okay, to carry the tunnel traffic we need to create a tunnel interface, okay. So this will be helpful for virtual, okay, VPNs where it is routing the traffic through the secure tunnel, okay. So to configure and secure tunnel, okay, to carry out your traffic securely between your sites, so we are going to configuring a tunnel interfaces, okay. So these are the type of interfaces that we have. And our last topic for this class is zones. So we have discussed about segmentation, right? So we have discussed about the segmentation where we are going to divide our network into multiple zones. How we are going to create VLANs in the switching, in the same way we are going to create zones here. So segmentation by using a zones. So here this is a Palo Alto firewall, where it has Ethernet 1/1 is connected to the user, and we have multiple, inside that we have multiple servers will be available, and we have an outside interface which is connected to the internet, we'll be calling as an outside. This is outside, and this is the inside. Okay, so we are segmenting the firewall into different networks or different zones, so to avoid unauthorized access to your internal network. For that purpose we are going to create a zones. So the first one is an trust zone or inside zone, where you are going to in the name itself you are if you are going to trust your traffic, or if that is a private network that you are already well aware of, so you can create zones called trust or inside zone. That is this is not necessary name that you have to give. So but the naming convention is whatever the naming convention that you want you can give, but whatever the traffic that you are trusting and whatever the traffic that is internal to your network, that will be configured as a one zone. And whatever the users that are available in that zone, so they are going to access, they are going to communicate, and whatever the users that are available in the outside zone, they are going to communicate within themselves. So if this user, if some of the hacker is trying to enter your inside network, so by default the firewall will be going to block that. So we don't have any access the outsiders, we don't have an access to the outsiders to enter in your inside zone. Once you create a zones, the firewall is by default the firewall is going to block the users coming from one zone to another zone. If you see here, whatever the green arrow that you can see, that allow by default, because they are in the within the zone. And if you see here red arrow, so it is it is denying by default, right? Denying means this is different zone. These are all in the different zones, and these are also in the different zone. Whatever the access or whatever the user that are communicating with from this zone to this zone, so by default the firewall is going to deny the traffic. So let's take, if you have some, if you have some users in the network who are well known, well known in sense they don't harm your network. So to allow the traffic we need to create security policies. So to allow the traffic from one zone to different zone, so you can create a security rule. So this is also one type of interview question. So between the zones, the by default the access will be not allowed, right? So if you want to allow the traffic between different zones, what we have to do, like in if you are heard about the term called inter VLAN routing. So whoever the user that are available in the one VLAN, they are not going to communicate the user in the other VLAN, right? So if you want to do a communication, we need to use an router, right? So that is called inter VLAN routing concept. In the same way, so I'm going to comparing with that. If you want to communicate, okay, if you want to communicate the users between different zones, we need a security rule in the firewall. How we need a router in your network to communicate users in one VLAN to different VLAN. So here also I need security rule. We need to configure one security rule in the firewall to allow the access from one zone to other zone. So we'll talk about this security rule, more about this security rule in the tomorrow class. So how we can create security rule, and what are the things that we are going to create in the security rule. So this is the concept of zones. So we'll be having, we have discussed about trust or inside zone and untrusted outside zone, right? We'll also having an one other zone called demilitarized zone. So what is the purpose of demilitarized zone means? So if you have a servers in your network, if you have a servers in your network which are internal to your network, but they will be accessing through your public, accessing through the public IP address. So let's take, okay, this is your firewall, okay, connected to the outside, which is an internet, and this is your network. Your network is connected to your, okay, this is inside and this is outside, okay. And now you will be having users, okay. In the inside you will be having users. This is your private network, okay. In the apart from users you will be having also servers, okay. You will be having a servers as well, multiple servers which are accessing through the public EIPs, okay. So private network in sense, these are having a private IP address, but we have a servers which are also accessed through the public IPs. So public IPs means the public also will able to, okay, whoever the users that are sitting outside, they are also able to access, right. So if they have in one zone, okay, if they have all the users and the servers that are, okay, that are accessible public IP in one zone, which is called inside zone, there is, okay, there is a chance of, okay, there is a chance of your private network going to compromise, because outside users are also coming into your private network to access your, okay, servers, right. While they are accessing, they are also going to steal your some private information, okay. For that reason, what we are going to do is we are going to create an, we are going to separate these servers, okay. So we are going to create a we are going to create, okay, separate zone, even though these servers are available in our internal network. So in order to, okay, provide, okay, in order to restrict unauthorized access to your private network, we are going to separate these servers, creating a demilitarized zone which is called DMZ zone, okay. So we are creating a demilitarized zone, so and placing the servers here, okay. So all the servers which are going to the public, which are accessed using a public IP. So we are creating a DMZ zone, okay. So now whoever the outsiders, okay, whoever the users that are outside of your network will directly come into a DMZ zone, okay. They don't have access to enter in your inside zone, okay. They are directly going to a DMZ zone. They are accessing the servers, okay. So in order to avoid unauthorized access to your network, we are separating the servers using an DMZ zone, which is called demilitarized zone, okay. So this is the concept of zones. We have inside, outside, demilitarized zones, okay. And this ends our first session today, okay. And tomorrow we are going to discuss about, okay, packet flow, how, okay, once the traffic receives on the firewall, okay, let's take this is a firewall, okay, this wall is a firewall. Once the traffic enter into your firewall, how the firewall will process inside the, okay, how the packet will be processed inside the firewall, what firewall is going to check, and how the firewall is sending the traffic out, okay. All the, if all the validations, okay, what are the validations that firewall is going to do to qualify that traffic, qualify in the sense to, okay, to send the traffic out. So what are the firewall is going to check, so we can discuss more about this in the tomorrow's class, okay. So this ends our first class. So do you have any questions or do you have any queries on this today's session? I think you are all following my words, right? Is
Yes, sir.
there any questions or any clarifications that you need on this? Anything, guys?
Hi, Karthik.
Yes, yes, Venkatesh
Um,
Tota, yeah.
yes. So మీరు ట్యాప్ ఇంటర్ఫేస్ గురించి చెప్పారు కదా. వాట్ ఇఫ్
అవును.
ద ఆర్గనైజేషన్ హ్యావ్ మల్టిపుల్ స్విచెస్? హౌ
Ah,
కెన్ వీ గెట్?
if you have multiple switches, whatever the switch that is connected to the LAN router, so you can connect there, because that is a exit and entry point of your network, right? So you can connect there in your, okay, you can connect there whatever the switch that are connected to the LAN router, you can connect there your firewall there, and configure in the, configure that that interface, whatever the interface that connected to the firewall, you can connect that as mirror or span port, and you can use the tap interface connecting to that.
Okay, all right. So not only these interfaces, do we have any SFP ports like other than these interfaces in firewall?
SFP ports will be having, okay, these are all the, okay, these are all the interface types, but if you see here
Yep.
some firewalls, okay, some firewall will be having RJ45, okay, and some
Yep.
firewalls you can see here, you can see SFP ports here.
Is it so they're going to be using for the same purpose or
Yeah,
it's
same purpose,
different?
all the interfaces will be having same purpose.
Okay.
But basically these RJ45 will be okay support up to 1 GB, but if you want support apart from 1 GB, if you want to support, you can going to use an SFP ports. Okay.
Thanks, Karthik.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no issues. Yeah. Others, do you have any questions or do you need any clarifications? Yeah, this session is open for a couple of minutes. If you have any questions, you can just raise your query. Otherwise, those who don't have any queries can feel free to drop off. Okay. Once this class completes, I will share you the recording video within 15 to 20 minutes. Okay, and just go through the video once again. And if you still have any questions, you can can just let me know in WhatsApp, or you can ask in the tomorrow's class. Okay.
Sorry, Karthik, one more question.
Yeah.
So essential network security అన్నారు కదా,
Uh-huh.
monitoring and logging. So they have the specific tool like for this Palo Alto device, or like is
No
it
specific
similar?
tool. The firewall itself will going to monitor and logging the sessions.
So do we? So we need to get this one through the IP address. That's what you're telling, right? Or
Yes, that's correct. Once you
okay.
log into the firewall, you can see the firewall is going. The firewall will be having separate tab called monitor tab, where you can see all the logs. Okay, so there is no need of separate tool or no need of separate thing that you want to install. Okay, in the firewall, the firewall itself will be going to
Give
logging
them
all the
monitoring.
sessions. Yeah, that's correct.
Okay, yeah.
Any other question, guys? Yeah, I will take this as no, and we can wind up this session here. Okay, and don't miss tomorrow's session. Tomorrow's session is also very important, so we can continue the packet flow tomorrow on tomorrow's session. Okay, thanks guys, thanks for joining the class. Have a good day. Bye.